Successive waves of light cavalry are just going to break against that.
Yeah.
You'll grind them down a bit, but...
These have left the field.
Well, no, you can get them back, and more of that now, actually. Last time, to move it along, I was being fairly fast and loose with the phases within a turn. We really ought to tighten that up a bit now. So in each cycle, we'll have to do this intention and declaration business. So I ought to take you through that a wee bit.
Okay.
That involves some of these markers.
Yeah.
The blue ones. It involves the blue markers in your box. And if you want to do a charge, you've got to put down a blue marker, but you put it down face down. We did a few last time. And if you want to do a charge, how you do it is this. Is that a blank one?
That's a blank.
Yeah, that's one of the bluffs. You put down a C1, but face down, so that I can't see it.
Charge.
Then you're committed to it, but I don't know it.
These.
And I have to respond. Those are reform. Now that's what you were talking about. To get these back under command, you whack down one of those face down. You then declare it as a reform to recover command. But in the case of these raw troops, you're going to have a general present. With some better troops, they can try it on their own. Their own officers can try that.
Right.
But that's why your generals are important. Remember, over here you've got two. You've got him, and you've got him.
So they would have to come into here.
Yeah. So if you want, say you want to rally them, you have to do that and put down
blue.
that.
Yeah.
And then when we have, after the intentions, after we've both done those, we have the declaration, which is that. And you say that's a reform. It's a reform to recover command, and you dice for it, and you may get them back under control.
Right. Okay. And then presumably he could then move over
And
to
they
this
can move
bunch
over, but
here.
they can only do one at a time. Is
And is this a separate?
That's
box?
another unit that's really smashed
So we've got
up.
three.
But they got no loss of command. They got smashed up, but didn't become
Right.
So they'll just.
They could just turn around.
Yeah. But I mean, they won't do anything like that. That you're going to have to regroup them. I'll take you through that as you accumulate battered ones back here.
Right.
There is another type of reform which probably won't matter much. It's reforming the ranks, but it doesn't apply to these armies so much. So if there's a need for it, I'll explain it. But why clutter your head with a lot of nonsense if you don't need to? You're stuck with it. That's deemed to be bad staff work. Right, so check your markers before you put them down.
Okay, and it's got to be this one in the middle box, which says C.
Yeah, that's for
There
charges.
you are, see there's one.
That's reform. No, did you put the C in there?
No, it's not going
No, right, well that's a wrong sort then. We even, not now, as far as I know, I don't know if there are any wrong sorts in there, but we even for a while deliberately put a couple of wrong sorts in each compartment.
Just to make sure.
So everybody had to check.
Yes, I'm sure that'd be a lot more fun.
As you can imagine,
And you didn't have to tell your opponents what they were doing.
bad staff work at a critical moment can be pretty annoying.
Okay.
Right,
Right, so
disappear back over the other side. So we're at the beginning of a turn.
and can we start at either end of the table or does it not matter?
You can start anywhere you like. And remember, you do have blank ones. You can bluff a charge,
Right.
which sometimes works, sometimes causes a reaction. This is why I like this set. I've used this set of rules for 30 years because the mechanisms are actually quite simple, but you can fit these wee subtleties in.
Okay, so what are you doing with... Are you
There's
going
one for the front squadron
Okay.
there, the Husaria.
Right.
And there's one for this regiment of foot. And one for these light cavalry. And that's all I've got. And you could do one either there or there, but you can't get them both because they're both in one turn, because they're both under his command. So,
Right, so the green, remind me what the green one is.
that is the least bad of the 3 stages of command and control degradation. That's called shaken.
Right, they're shaking, but
Yeah, but they are not disrupted,
no.
and they are not on the verge of rout, which is the lowest one. Lost command.
Now,
Yes. Cavalry generals can move, well, your Tartar generals could move 20, and your Turkish cavalry generals could move 16.
okay.
So they've got plenty of, and generals, by the way, can move at any time in a turn.
All right.
You just
so
say, I
they
want to move my generals, and you just
uh-huh.
do it.
Okay, well let's start up here now. These will all be different units then, so they have to all move.
Both, right, that's good, that's fine. Any more?
Mm-hmm. These guys are a bit too.
And I think I actually have another. And remember, you can up the ante on a cavalry fight. Remember I said it's a bit like poker. You have to decide whether to up the ante or not, or just let it go as it is. So there's one going down there.
These are mine.
They're one of each. They're yours and they're mine.
Head to head.
3 turns from the edge.
Okay, well let's. Do I have to
Don't
put down?
move, don't move them yet.
I have to put down a wee.
No, not to
No.
move them, you don't.
No.
So have you got any more intentions that you want to make, charges or reforms or anything?
These are different from those, so I'd have to put a different.
Yes, they operate as single squadrons. Right? No, it's still going.
Yeah.
They've got 2 now, Margaret.
Oh, have they? Oh,
Yeah,
well, that should
I'm
have
not-
been.
I'm not
That
looking.
should have been
Right.
the one behind, really.
Right.
Right.
Do you mean that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So the next thing is we declare our intentions. That's a bluff. That's nothing.
Okay. Right.
What's that one? Charge.
Charge. Yes.
Right, who's charging them? Them. Right.
Oh, these are different again.
Yeah.
It's only these.
Right, so who are they charging?
Into.
Wow, right. Mine can't move 3 before contact. They don't get the momentum bonuses because they're deemed not to be moving quickly enough.
Right.
Right, so the remaining distance is just over 6, which means mine do manage to get up speed.
Mm-hmm.
So they meet there. That comes off and that comes off. And this is where mistakes get made. Make sure it goes back in the right with the others of its own type. Right. Form command. Now this means do anything else this turn. They're concerned with reforming. So a dice for that. Now they're a trained regiment, which puts them on 50-50. +1 for the general, so they can pass on a 3 or better. And they get 4, so their command and control is restored, but they can't do anything else this turn.
Okay.
This one, I'm trying it without benefit of clergy. So they'll need a 4. That's a reform to recover command. They'll need a 4. They fail, so now they just continue going
So
back.
you leave the red
Yeah,
marker
that
on.
stays. They haven't regained command. They'll just trail back and draw up here because they're not actually routed. This one for me is a charge. I'm throwing in a second squadron there. Right? Okay, whack. We'll sort that out when we get to it. Your 2 are next. What are they? Right, well they may not be able to, but they certainly can. Where are they going?
They are going
Into the back of that?
to that.
Well, that's what I thought they would do. So that's a charge. So in fact it'll end up being like that because they won't expose their flank.
Right.
So that comes off and that comes off. And now the question is, what happens here? You can't put in two into the same objective at the same time. So the question is, can they get through there? And this is going to be a matter of millimetres. Their frontage,
The other ones.
they crash in behind them.
Yep.
So
That one comes off.
that comes off. Well, I caught you there, but you've caught me there. No, there's nobody they can charge.
Right, they can just come forward.
No, they can come forward in the ordinary movement phase, but
Yeah,
they can't
but they can't
charge the
charge, so-
contact. Right, so that was.
Well, I think we've got enough people fighting at the moment without them coming
I think
forward
we
even.
have.
Right, okay.
We've done the charges. It's now what you were suggesting there. It's now ordinary movement. Non-chargers can move now.
Okay.
Right, so they're coming back into line. And they're moving up to protect. No, they had a
They
half
had a
turn,
move,
so they only get a half.
So we'll move these ones up to fight them then.
Right. Now remember, you can't charge them this time.
No,
So how far do you want to come to use your bows?
the bows can go from what distance?
They can
5?
go up to 12.
Oh well, that's fine.
You could
But
do
we
it
could
from
do it from
there.
there. Well, let's just do it from there.
Yeah.
So we're not moving those.
No, they'll just shoot.
But I think we'll move these
Right.
towards that.
Yeah. What you can do is feed them around
Yeah,
like this
do
and
that.
threaten the flank. They're both pretty battered units, but why not? And my advice would be to do it like
Do
that,
like that. Mhm.
so that you've got the option of one or the
Yep.
other.
Okay.
Right.
So that's all we're doing at this
Anything
moment.
here? Anything else here? Take your time. It's a complex situation.
These we've already moved those, haven't we? We charged those
No, not this.
No?
No, not this time.
this time.
I just moved up to cover the flank.
Yes. Well, are we near enough to charge into them? Or we can't move
You
and
can't,
charge
you
at
can't
the same
charge. You've got to order it in advance. You can
Right.
shoot from there.
time? Well, let's shoot then.
Right. Well, that comes later. It's
Yeah,
just the
okay,
movement
the
we're doing
movement
now.
this time.
Right. Well, they've got a 5-inch move maximum.
Well, they can move to there.
Yep. I'll mark it. You move them. Yeah. Right, what the hell?
Now, are these in the same unit they are? Aren't they?
They're another battalion of the same unit.
So we're moving all of them.
You can do, yes, and they can just, as long as nobody moves more than 5, they don't have to maintain their formation. They're irregulars. To extend this flank, but they're just squeezing through this gap at the moment. So you wouldn't be able to do that if you'd burned this,
No.
because it would be out to about here. That's right. You see, with regular troops, that would cost you,
Yes, but not
because you're
with
breaking
these-
formation, but
these
they're
guys.
not bothered.
Right. So these are all facing this.
They should keep going.
Yes, they should keep going.
Right, now this is where in future you might want to try to deal with this, because they can still move their 5, but one of the restrictions of having a shaking command is that you can only move half distance.
So you could move
2.5.
2.5 inches.
Shall I do that for you?
Yes, please.
So they're there, and the question that the not represented regimental commander of these 2 battalions has to make is whether this one stays with them or moves on ahead.
They could move on ahead, I think.
That's the correct decision.
Uh-huh.
They're on attack orders.
Yes. I'm going to take their commander. What's
He's not, remember, he's the light artillery, he's the rocket
he's
man.
a camel guy.
Yeah, that's Elton
Right.
John.
Okay, I think, can we move these?
Yeah, they're the skirmishers for the next
so they
wave.
Can go up just behind.
Yeah,
And this lot too. Just
yeah. And that's the brigade commander and his staff.
So he comes forward.
Yeah.
And these can go 5?
They can do 5.
Right, so that's just up behind.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of them.
Well, all the Turkish foot are light on their feet.
Right, so we can move to here. Can they move over a bit this way?
Yeah, they can shimmy a wee bit to the flanks. They're skirmishers, they're fairly flexible. Squeeze them, yeah, move them a bit further over, that's fine.
Okay,
And then the main body comes up behind.
yep. Again 5.
Yeah.
So 2. Must have been an enormous noise in these battles.
Yeah. Well, the Turkish troops had a reputation for remaining quite quiet. They were much quieter than Westerners.
The flag bearer presumably goes to the front.
Yeah. One theory is that they thought that that was actually more intimidating.
To move silently?
Yeah.
May well have been right.
Them through 90 degrees for some reason.
No, that's the way
That's
they
it,
were. That's
yeah.
better, isn't it?
Yeah. It's alright, we'll sort them out in a minute. It's near enough.
How's that?
That'll do fine.
And this is a big gun.
Well, it's a group of small 3-pounder guns that can keep up with them.
Well, let's do that then.
It's the only decent artillery you've got on the field.
They go 5 as well.
Your white coat levies can move up a bit, although there's a bit of a traffic jam taking place here now. You can move them up slightly if you want to.
These ones, what are they firing?
They're
Bows?
they're
They
skirmishers.
could actually fire from that distance, could you
No,
not?
because
No,
it's
so
through too many
They
years.
need to
They're
move
skirmishers for them.
for them. So how
Yeah.
far can they move?
Well, just up behind these really, just a couple of inches.
Right.
Flank because they didn't know the exact dispositions.
That's with them.
Yeah. Are you going to try to pursue this cavalry attack through here?
Yes, yeah.
Right, well you've got a squadron of heavies out here. Do you want me to move them
Yes,
forward?
please, uh-huh.
Well, their full move is 6. Do you want them to do that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Hang on. That would take them to there. They're a bit isolated at the moment.
Well, they have to move these ones
Right.
too.
So there. They have it. There. And yeah, this is where the log jam's
Yes, we'll
coming.
need to leave these ones out just now. And this.
What you could do
Can we
is you
turn them
could.
round a bit?
Yes, what you could do. I don't think they've got bows. They're lancers. Yeah, lance and sabre.
Well, there's not much point sending them against the pikes sticking out of the wall.
There
really,
isn't.
there?
There isn't. They should be
These?
trying to support this.
Yes.
But those 2 squadrons could move up and try to suppress some of the fire
Yes.
here, couldn't
Okay,
they?
let's do that.
Right, so they're lights, so they've got up to 10. They can get to about there if they want, and they can come up to support them, but a bit further back.
And this.
And he's the commander for that whole cavalry wing. A pasha of 2 horsetails.
Right, okay, so that they're getting closer.
They are. It's all very inconsiderate
Did we
of
move
them.
the ones up here?
Which ones?
Any of we moved. Okay, let's move them then.
Right, well they're shaking, I'm afraid.
So
So
they
the
can
best
only
thing that
move-
they can do is get out of the way
Right.
and try to recover themselves. And
Oh,
let
that's-
them through at a full 5-inch move. and the fanatics come behind. And he's their boss, that's the Deputy Aga of the Janissary Corps. And his staff.
There needs to be a holy man behind him.
Hey. God.
About the Genghis Khan, I mean, he would be the head of all his troops, presumably.
Well, yes, I mean, and really all these Tartars and Bashkirs and all the others,
Yeah, there's a
steppe nomads were all descendants, ultimately. If not ethnically, then certainly culturally.
Yeah. Okay, that's, I think.
Right, is all movement done?
Yep.
Right, well, it's firing and it's artillery first, I think. Artillery fire. Right, come on, for goodness sake.
But do we need a normal dice for that?
Yes, and I don't, apart from your Rocketeers, you won't have any. Do you want to fire your Rocketeers first? You've got 1, 2, and remember how they work. The range is a maximum of 24, they can shoot overhead, and they're 4 or better to hit, and they don't inflict any casualties, but they may inflict a morale test.
Okay.
That you know,
So this is the
yeah, this is this fella. Who's he shooting at?
not one.
Doesn't really matter.
Just these in front. They didn't
Front,
get
right.
anything in
So
it.
he picks up another ring. That's 2 rockets he's fired. He only has 4. And he goes and has a cup of undrinkable coffee somewhere.
Right. So okay, that's their turn.
What about the other one? See,
Maybe
the
the
long
same
one
one
at
then.
Stewart's. And he hasn't tried before. I thought he did. I thought we had one went into the palisade, didn't we?
Did we? Don't think so.
No, okay. Maybe I made that up. Go on then.
4.
That's a hit. So roll it again, and if you can get a 6, it's a morale test.
2.
No. So he gets a ring. They're not very effective, these things, are they?
Right.
I think they're more for the morale of them, to show that something's going on. Right, my artillery. Missed. Hey. What's the Polish for your sight? Right, come on, for goodness sake. Here. 4. It's a hit. Right, roll for damage. It's a test. Roll for damage. 3. 3 on a big gun, so you've got a morale test.
So 3 of these rings on.
No, it's a score of 3. So I have to look it up, and looking at the right chart would help. 3 is 1, so they take 1 casualty and a morale test.
Okay.
And
That's
minus
it.
1 on the morale test. So if you roll your dice, you die, and it's minus 1, 0. That worst possible result. Command tests, 0 is pretty poor. 0 less disrupted, that's a yellow morale mark. The green becomes a yellow. They're now further restricted in what they can do.
We can still do something, can they?
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a rough with disrupted morale, half movement. If they fight a melee, they must follow up. They can't, if they're successful, they can't opt to stand. Half number fighting or firing, but they may still recover normal command following a reform test.
Right. So we just leave them where they are.
Just leave them where they are. So we're
Okay,
moving along,
right.
blowing off your multi-barrel at the odd crossbowman. So here, that's a 4. No, it's not. The skirmish line, it's a 5. Missed. Right, well, we better try to stop this cavalry. So we might even get canister fire at them. 6 inches, I think that's within the canister. This will be unpleasant. Canister range for a big gun is, I think it's 6. I just want to be sure. 6. Right, so, whoop. Canister. There's the line for it. Here's the die. Rolled a 4 on the canister line. 3. So blam, they get blown away
Doesn't
with
leave many of these guys.
24 pounds weight of musket balls.
Right. Okay.
And this one may be the same. Measuring it from the front of the carriage, they are just out. So he has to fire a ball at them. The canister won't carry. 4 or better, it's a hit. 3, that'll be 1 for ordinary shot. Yeah, one of them. I'll do it, can I?
Yep, that's fine.
There we are. Right, we better try to smash out these flankers. Need a 4 there, but it's an enfilade, so it'll be a 3. It's a miss anyway. Dummies. A bit of back shooting. Never miss a back shot if you can. 4 required. That's a hit. 3 on a light gun is 1, so 1 on them. Right, and that's the artillery. So it's other missile weapons, muskets, bows, pistols, pea shooters, whatever they've got. Start from this end.
Okay.
The oldest
So they're
ones
firing
in
into their backs, really.
yes, the oldest ones in the county armoury. Go to them.
Right.
Last
okay.
choice. So 8 at 2 skirmish line. It's actually 8 at 1. 8 at 1 with a 1 is going to be nothing. Yeah, that's nothing.
So they missed, right.
Burning. Got 3 minor armoured, yours aren't. So you've got 5 at, that'd be standard range. What is it for short bows anyway? Short bow, 3, 6 and 12 are range brackets. Oh, it's actually long range. Is it? It's one of these marginal ones. Yes, it is. So you've got 5 at 3 long range, 2 armoured target at long range, 1. 5 at 1 you've got. So you need a 6. Mine won't be much better than that. No.
Nothing.
Well, these Panzerni have got bows, haven't they? Yes, they have. At basic 3, long range 2. Yours are not armoured. So 3 at 2 is also a 6. They don't get it either. Same here.
What about these? The ones that are close up?
No, they've gone in.
They've gone.
They're gonna fire.
They didn't get.
I think your lads there may have been bold but
Right.
misguided. We'll see. That standard range, so you get 5 at basic 3, and it's armour but not heavy armour, so I don't think that counts as standard. No, it doesn't. It's only shears a 5 they need. They don't get it either. Up here, in exchange. Right, you can go first. The artillery casualties do count against them, the sequence counts. So you've got 4 at 3 targeting cover, 4 at 2. You need a 6.
I'm going to change this dice, it comes up 1 every time.
Do you know, 10 I've got here. and it's, is it short? Yes it is, it's short range.
That's a lot of casualties.
10 at 3, short range 4, skirmishers 3. 10 at 3 is 1 casualty and roll for the test. 1 and no test. So
That's them off.
that's that. Well done, Cook. They can't fire because they reformed, but they can fire.
Okay.
So I think it might be Kiss Me Goodnight. So it's their first volley. So they're 16 at 3, short range 4, first volley 5. They're not heavies. Gonna be murder this. 16 at 5. 16 at 5 is 2.3, they're gone already without rolling the dice.
Right.
Who were they? They did well.
They had shields and big lances, but not much else.
Yeah. Hajduk Regiment of Christian of Ostrov. I can't remember Christian of Ostrov, I must have looked him up at some stage. Alright, well done Christians. Can't. Stuarts. 24 at basic 4. All fire on the same target, always fire at the weak one. Standard range. Standard range all along the line. 24 at 4, no modifiers. 24 at 4 should also be pretty cruel. 3.6. 3. So if we take those rings off so that you can keep your flag, and take off, there were 4 rings on them. So actually it's 2 you have to lose. Do you understand that? Because
Yes.
that had got doubled up and there were actually 4 rings of them.
That's right, so that shouldn't have been there anyway.
Yeah, so they've just been blasted
wiped.
basically. I think they can keep going if you want to, but they've
No, I
got
think
badly
they do.
depleted command and they're shot away to
And they've
nothing.
got a yellow sticker on
Yeah.
anyway, so I think they're probably running away.
Probably. They're under control, they can
Yes.
trot away.
Right, okay, we'll move them.
6 is 1 and roll for the test. 1 casualty and roll for the test. I don't get the test.
2.
Wrong die, you get another shot at it. They're actually what are called average dice. They go 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5.
2.
No. So that's 2 each. 2 of yours, 2 of mine. And no gain to either side.
Right.
Right. When you've got nothing in reserve, it doesn't take much for your line to start feeling thin. Now this could be even worse from my point of view because you wrong-footed me. Fortunately, they're lights. So this is where it gets complicated.
So 2 lots up here.
You've got 2 lots in against one of mine, but then I've got
Yes.
2 in against one of yours.
Yes.
Right, so yours are armoured medium, mine are armoured medium, but yours are armoured medium with lance, so you've got 4 at 4 basic. They haven't got lance because this is the second round. 4 at 4, I beg your pardon, 5 at 4, and mine are the same, so they're 5 at 4. So we've each got 5 at 4, then you get the charges on top of that. Right, so the first phase then is 5 at 4 each way. 5 at 4 is 3, and roll for the test, 0.3. I don't get one, you do. This is going to be even more overwhelming, I think. So that's 1 of mine. And then your charges come in. Now they're lights, so they're 3 charging 4, cavalry charging 5, and they have short spear, but mine don't have any long weapon. So they get a +1 for that. 5 at 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 at 6 again. 5 at 6, 1 and roll for the test.
6.
2 and no, 1 in the test. So that's 2 of mine, and mine are tested, which they pass, but then I'm loser of melee by 2, so I'm pushed 2 inches and tested again at -2 this time, which I fail, but not too badly. Oh, you got the better of that one, and yours follow up.
Right.
So that turns, and what that means is next time yours get the equivalent of the charge increment. They have forward momentum, mine don't, and you have overwhelming numbers anyway. So you're going to win that. The question for me is, do I gamble and throw in the little reserve? I'll decide that in a moment.
So we'll get this one still.
Yes, and the book's on the other foot here. You lost 1 last time, so you've got 4 at 4 for medium cavalry. 4 at 4 gets a 6. Cheeky one, Margaret. That's 0.4, so you get 1 and the test. Right, take that off, put that there, so it's 1 this time. You test them, they're an elite regiment, so they're on +1. Oh, they're off the scale at the top end, 7, they don't care. So mine hit back with 5 at 5, which is 2 and roll for the test. They managed to not get it.
2.
Right, well, you have actually knocked down some of my much vaunted Husaria. But, oh no, it's not them, it's them. But then retribution comes. Mine are basic 5, charging 6, cavalry charging 7, more heavily armoured 8, lance 9, 5 at 9, 1.42. So you are the loser of melee by 2 to 1. The difference in casualties is 1, so you are pushed and tested at -1, which in your case is -2 because they're raw troops. -2 on that roll. 0 is straight to lost command, which is the worst. You're not routed, but you're on the verge of it. And that one is going that way. Right, that's how that ends. And they get 1. You only get 1. So, despite everything, despite all my advantage, that is a draw.
But and your other ones got taken away, didn't they?
Right, well they got pushed.
Yes, they got pushed.
They haven't broken yet, but they got
Not yet,
pushed.
but
So-
you still got a lot more than.
Yes, in this melee we're static, in this one you're going forward. So that's where it stops for this turn, that one. We've done that one, we've done those.
You're not doing anything here, no.
No, there.